Check. Testing. So you may have noticed that I deleted a bunch of videos. So I think I think it's I think it's safe for you to assume that I'm no longer into conspiracy theories, and I'm no longer into opining on spiritual matters. And the reason why is because recently a friend of mine was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I just realized that all these so-called Facebook friends, all these friends that we have around, they really don't care. You know, this person needs some funding so she can relocate and get into a place where she has a hope to fight for her life. And I had like 4 people share the link. So there's 4 real people in there and it's amazing because in our natural state, you know, think back to when you were a kid. If you weren't raised by brutes and there was a sense of concern or compassion in you, and you wanted to help wounded things, you'd find lost dogs and you'd want to take care of them. There's so many examples of what you are in your natural state as a human being. And, to find that as people get older, their compassion is dead. That's why the world is messed up. So, getting that realization was, pretty sobering. And so, yeah, I'm realizing that any any social pursuit is just a lost cause. It's a lost cause. There's no point in it. Um, Everybody is desensitized by media, and they're focused on these big self-glamorizing ideologies that have no substance, and they have no reparative effect on the world around them. So, and I realized a long time ago that conspiracy theories and pursuit of assuming that the political process is going to fix anything external is going to fix anything. I realize it's just a facade. It's fake. It's a lie. Everybody's living this lie. So the real truth is that you have a heart and you can pour that into the world, and it can be a miraculous thing um, to be able to do that. And, most people not pouring that into the world. They're pouring it into social situations that they get something from for the express purpose of getting something from it. So, and I'm not going to relate it to this world at all on that level like that. I don't think it's sensible. I don't think it's genuine. And I don't think it speaks of the power that we have in us to actually affect change in the world by being people that gravitate towards a good ability to project love into the world. So, um, yeah, I'm not no longer doing any. I've come up with some very profound spiritual things in the past. I've been on this pursuit my whole life, and you know, I'm a person that's on the edge of falling on my ass. I don't know what the spirit's got in store for me. I'm doing college, risking everything for a dream, you know. And even though I'm down and out and I'm low, I'm lending what little I do have to people for gas money so that, they can go to appointments and do whatever. And it's because I care. I'm not getting anything out of it. I share links for anybody that I come across that are in desperate need of help with their cancer or whatever, the things that they need in life. And I think if a person really is not on that level, well, because this life is a battleground. You got a battle going on inside you. Am I going to give a shit? Am I going to be angry? Some of us, like me, have had to suffer with being raised to respond in extreme ways. Have had to battle that our whole lives. And without much of any help, virtually no help from people that are supposed to be friends, you know. Nobody comes up with an idea. Well, if you're internalizing it like this, why don't you go this way with it? Instead of condemning somebody for the fact they do it, say, here's an idea. See if you can work with that. Nobody does that, because you're not aware, you're not awake, you're not enlightened, and you don't really realize that the intellect of love is far superior to the intellect of mind, and it's far more effective. So, yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with everything. Um, it doesn't pay my bills to come up to be inspired with a lot of heavy spiritual stuff that can help people find their center. It doesn't pay my bills. I don't do it for money. I'm not like all these charlatans out there, dressing it up in some kind of um, fake bubblegum candy wrap crap. I try to tell people the straight facts, and that's it. But um, after realizing that people couldn't just click a share button, when they wouldn't just go off, and say, hey, somebody needs help, and what if I needed help? What if my mom needed help? What if they couldn't put themselves in somebody else's shoes to do something that's decent, that is part of our natural state as children, because we don't want people to hurt. When I was a kid, I was incredibly empathic. And to see somebody get hurt, it hurt me. I can't even watch videos where people are hurting themselves badly anymore because my empathy is just off the charts anymore. I can't do that. And we're living in a world of people that are just saturating their consciousness with those types of videos. And I think it's a shame. And I think people should be ashamed. They should be ashamed of the fact that they're so far away from their natural state that they're letting the world go to hell in a handbasket. The reason why the world is messed up is not because of politics. It's not because of religion. It's not because of atheism. It's not because of all these ideologies. It's not because of science. It's not because of anything more than you have separated yourself so far away from your natural state. When you would think about the land and the poisons that we're putting into this society, both psychologically, emotionally, and chemically. I don't know about you, but I don't. I make everything from scratch, specifically to avoid the chemicals, the chemical preservatives. I've learned that when you make your own bread, it won't mold in 2 weeks. It'll dry the hell out, but it won't mold. And every other piece of bread out there, I mean, it took months for some homemade bread to mold, actually. So, you're living in a false reality, and that's what it comes down to. You're living in a false sense of self, and, I can't condemn that because I lived in that false sense of self for a long time. But you need to be made aware of it because in your original state, you want everyone to do well. You don't want people to have intense internal struggles that are a burden on everybody else. That's your natural state. And I've worked my butt off in the last 4 years to get back to that natural state. And I'm not really concerned that other people don't, because that's your battle. You got to figure out where you're going, and you don't know. Most of you don't. You haven't even looked at the roadmap and plotted a destination as far as where you want to go. Most people are like, well, I want to retire with money. I want to live with my partner the rest of my life. I want to have savings. I want to have this. I want to have that. What you don't realize is that we need to project good, pure, innocent, loving energy into this world if we're going to survive. You know, in the end, if you're looking for enlightenment and you're not getting to a very real sense of your capacity to love, you know, and taking everything out that bars that. Case in point. Last night, I got angry because I had deceived myself into thinking that the people around me had enough heart to care about somebody on the level I'm the kind of person, I'm a nurturing guy. I took care of my grandmother for 7 years, and I was like a mother hen. And it was maddening because I'm still fighting my PTSD struggles. And so there was a lot of conflict, and there was a lot of ups and downs. But fortunately, I was able to help save her life on one or two occasions. I've been fortunate enough to help a few people in desperate situations, potentially desperate situations, save their lives, you know. But that's how I roll. I'm one of those guys, I care, and I've always been that way, you know. But to know that I know so many people who are living the lie that compassion is dead. Your compassion isn't dead. Your love isn't dead. Your ability to care about everyone isn't dead. What it is that you're believing in the lie that it's damaged, like everyone else. They're believing in the lie that there's a justification because of this happening or that happening. No. What you don't really understand is your love and your compassion is untarnishable. It's immutable. It's eternal. It's infinite. And you can get back to that. So people can talk about this spiritual stuff all they want, but if they're not walking the walk, you got nothing. You're just an empty shell, or like it said in the Bible, a bunch of empty, clanging pots and pans out there trying to make money or do whatever, find some status in the ability to promote some kind of weird ideas on spiritual. I deleted all of it. I've experienced a lot. I shared all my experiences and how energy and twin flames and realizations that I've had. I've shared all of it, and a lot of it was transitional material. So the bottom line is that if you're really into evolution, the ultimate in evolution, spiritually, psychologically, intellectually, is realizing that you have an infinite amount of compassion, an infinite amount of love, and an infinite amount of concern for your fellow human, and an infinite amount of wanting to see people do well and be able to fight for their lives. All the media that has desensitized you and broken you, all the bad relationships that you've magnetized towards you by having an internal struggle that you don't want to admit, you don't put out there in the social circles and say, I have an internal struggle. You're not going to ever get past that. So long as you bind those things up and you don't make that an awareness thing in yourself and in the people around you. And I know everybody's focused on trying to look like, they're role models. But you know what? These people have those same struggles too. And if they're able to get past them, for the pressure that's put on them, from the energy of the world that goes to them, because of the fact that they're on a stage and they're in front of millions of people, hundreds of millions of people, if they're able to get past it, is because they're honest with each other in their close circles, and that these things are known. Okay? This, and I've always known this since I was a kid, this concept of having that openness to get back to the state of origin that you were when you were a kid, when you had infinite amounts of care, love, happiness, compassion, if used on a social basis, can do miracles. But the simple fact is, I'm looking at peer groups and associations, acquaintances that don't care. Apathetic narcissism, man. Everybody's focused on getting what they want, doing that. It's almost a sociopathic, thing in the world anymore, and it's not okay. It's not condemnable because everybody's sucked into the lie, and I think a lot of that was created by the media because we've shifted from having compassion, in the media to having none. You know, you've become a ruthless race. You know, the human species is messed up because the human species forgot that there's a sacred aspect in themselves that they can bring forth into the world and change everything. So, yeah, I'm not going to talk about anything spiritual anymore. It's not paying my bills. It's helping other people out, but it isn't helping me out. So, it's like people need to get there because this world is not going to be very pretty if they don't. Peace out, folks.